Monday. I missed last week. I had a lot going on. I completely forgot, and that sucked. I was also really hungover. So, I'll be doing this week and last week's video in one. So, we're supposed to make a fort, but I don't have enough stuff in my room to make a fort anymore. And my walls are pretty crappy for holding intact. So, I'll just talk about when I was a kid. Well, one of my major areas of my room where I'm sitting in right now used to not have access. I had a really, really messy room, where that chair is, and like on here and stuff. It wasn't accessible. So, I had a really messy room, and when I was younger, I used to be afraid of the dark. So, my house is like really, really old, like maybe even 200 years old. We don't know the age. So, it's haunted. I know a lot of people don't believe in ghosts, but I do, because I've had stuff happen to me that wouldn't happen for any other reason but ghosts. And I used to always make a fort over my bed. I had a permanent fort over my bed. My bed was, instead of the long ways it is now, it was right there along that wall right there, and the end of my bed here out to like here, something like that. And I used to have a fort all up along my wall and on my bed, and I used to be terrified of the dark. I used to hear things, and so I would sleep with that. I slept with that for like 3 years. Pretty long time. What made me change towards that was Christmas. I bought a new bed set. It's on my chair right now. I don't use it anymore because I've gotten new bed blankets and stuff like that since. But I used to have set for Christmas, so I wanted to take down my fort because I really liked it, and I wanted to be able to show it without the fort. So I took it all down and I wouldn't, but I had been trying to sleep like that for a long time, so I started to get used to it. I still, to this day, can't sleep in my room with, like, silence. I have to have my radio on all night, and I have to have a couple fans on to make noise, because I get too scared otherwise, because my room doesn't have a very good vibe in it. It's gotten a lot better since I cleaned it out completely, but it's still not very comfortable for me, so. That was my childhood as a kid. Well, not childhood, but it was a few years of my life where I used to forts a lot. I heart boobies. One of the most embarrassing things I think I've ever done in my life is probably cry at school. I think I've only cried at school in the past 6 years twice. And the first time was in grade 6 when I had a pinched nerve in my neck. My neck was stuck like this, except it looked a lot worse than that. And I couldn't move it. It started to get worse throughout the day, and it was on picture day too. And I couldn't move, and it just started to hurt so bad. I started to cry, and I ended up having to go home. But I hate showing emotion like that, like a weakness in public, because I feel like people can easily manipulate that and use me like putty. And the other thing is, when I was in grade 8, I had a migraine, and when I have migraines, I get really sick, like physically and stuff, and I throw up because it's so much pain, my body can't handle it, and I throw up. And I tried to stick it out at school one day because I had a project due, and I ended up throwing up at school, and it hurt really bad. So I've only ever really cried at school twice, and I find that to be really, really embarrassing. I don't like it. I left that out because, no. And yeah, that's all for today. I'll see you next week.